Mic on here. Can you hear me now? All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our tax reinvestment zone for downtown Corpus Christi, zone number 3. It's my honor to chair the first meeting to take place in our brand new shiny council chamber, so I feel quite honored.
Oh, it's early.
Ms. Rebecca, would you call the roll, please?
Sir, is it 9:56? I think we're starting a little bit early, just.
Well.
Okay, I guess.
9:57?
All right, we can start a little bit early.
Yeah, we'll start early.
All right. Chairman Mike Pesley.
Here.
Vice Chair Everett Roy.
Present.
Mayor Paulette Guajardo is not here. Sylvia Campos. Here. Roland Barrera.
Here.
Dan Seckley. Here. Gil Hernandez.
Here, but the microphones aren't working.
Yeah. Okay, we've got to turn everybody's mic on. Okay. Just give us one moment, please.
And with most things brand new, we're still working out a few of the bugs.
Dan's work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he's requesting to speak. Okay. I think we need to move everybody over.
Thump it real hard, that may make it work. There you go.
There we go.
That fixed
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Here.
All right, Gil Hernandez is here. Jim Klein is not here. Connie Scott. Here. Rudy Garza.
Here.
James Sedgwick.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum present to conduct the meeting.
You didn't call my name.
Mr.
I'm
Hunt.
here, though.
And Mr. Michael Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Yes, sir, you're here.
This mic's not working either.
Yeah. Oh, there Collins? It was.
Okay. All right, we good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would anyone like to make public comment at this time? Ms. Huerta, do you have anyone that has signed up for public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll move on to item D, the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to be made to the minutes from the last meeting? If not,
I move for approval.
have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Now we have to vote, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
We won't be using the system for this meeting. We'll start with the council meeting.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. We might better have a practice council meeting or something. Okay, have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Then we have financial report. Good morning.
No, ma'am, just a moment.
Okay. Oh, good morning. Alma Casas, Interim Director of Finance. Here to present the financials for the 4 months ended January 31st. How do we get the presentation on? Oh, here we go.
It's not showing on our screens either.
Do you have it now?
It's on the screen.
Okay. Can I advance it here? Nope. Can you advance it, please? Thank you. So we start off our year with the beginning fund balance of $7.9 million. Revenues year to date, $2.287 million. Expenditures year to date, $444,248, giving us an ending fund balance at January 31st of $9.7 million. Our commitments remaining to be paid, $7.8 million. That leaves us with an available fund balance for commitments of $1.8 million. Next, please. Slide. Thank you. So we anticipate that at the end of this year, we will have a balance available for commitments of $7.3 million. Next slide, please. Can I advance it from here now?
Yes, just press this.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to our project-specific development. We have committed $4.4 million for those items listed there. Those are the different projects. Moving on to targeted vacant property improvement. We've committed $996,695 there for those two items. Downtown Living Initiative, we've committed $3.9 million for those two items there. Commercial finish out, we've committed $125,208 for that. Our streetscape and safety improvement program, we've committed $1.8 million for all those items listed there. And this is the last one. This is a rooftop activation program. We've committed $1 million there. Any questions?
Councilman Hernandez, did you have a question?
It's not working. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I guess when we have these issues with this, I mean, we don't have the ability to have the microphone on during roll call. So I guess we just need to have it on for everybody to be on when we do the roll call and then have the request going forward. But with regards to this, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Sorry, that my button was pushed when we were doing the roll call.
Any other questions, council? I do have one. Alyssa, can you give us a quick update on, have you heard anything on our 600 building project?
Yes, sir. So we stay in regular communication with the developer of the 600 building. We anticipate news on their financial status in the next 2 weeks. I know that there has been some requests from the board for us to determine whether or not that project is going to be moving forward. So we are working with them to hopefully get an update on the financial commitment and bring something back by the next board meeting to either get this project off the ground and moving forward or to kind of bring it to an end. But again, this is one of the most complicated financial projects that we will have done as a community, so it's using historic tax credits, multifamily financing for the downtown area. There's only been one project that's multifamily before, so it is a pretty sophisticated undertaking.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
If there's no questions on that, we'll move forward to, we don't have an executive session, so we'll move to agenda item G3. And Alyssa, are you going to present that?
Good morning, Chairman, board members. Alyssa Bedetta-Mason, Executive Director of the Downtown Management District. If we could have the presentation pulled up for item 3. Glad we're working all the kinks out here. Do I need? Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing it here.
I do have a question before we move forward for our, wherever our IT guy went. How do we make the screen where the presentation is?
Press it.
Do we-
Double press to make it larger.
No?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, double press the screen. There you go.
No, well, a little faster.
All right. Doesn't like my fingerprints. Okay?
Okay, so the project we have before you is 425 People Street. This is a 2-part project, so we have one presentation, but we will be asking for approval on 2 different agreements, one with the landlord and one with the tenant for this property. So, next slide. Do I have the ability to do? I can do it, okay. So this site is at the intersection of Peoples and Mesquite Street. This is a really busy corner and portion of Peoples Street. We have a number of enterprises here, small businesses opened by entrepreneurs with the support of Dusty, who's also very much leading this initiative as well. Dusty has partnered with the owner of the property here at 425 Peoples, and he proposes repairs and maintenance to the facade of the building And it will include tenant improvements, roof repairs, window cleaning, facade repairs, repairs to the transom windows, exterior lighting, and security cameras. And then the landlord will do improvements to install HVAC through the building because it currently is not air conditioned. The overall project cost is $182,000. We're proposing a $72,000 incentive for the streetscape. We'll show you some more pictures. The facade is very much in need of improvement. And then with the commercial finish out landlord program, we will be recommending $18,000 for those HVAC repairs. Again, this building is unair conditioned. We're aiming to have this complete by 1 year from now, which is next March. This is a historic property and a historic site. The current owner, Scott, actually is a descendant of the McCampbells who originally kind of developed this site. And it was replaced by the Seligson building, which currently stands there today. So you can see some pictures of the condition of the exterior. At one point there was an awning attached, but over time that has decayed, so now we're left with like a few pieces of the awning structure kind of hanging on. The transom windows you can see were covered up by wooden boards. There was some window air conditioning units installed there, but there hasn't been a lot of repairs to the exterior of the property. And one of the issues with this was that there was also no drainage system installed, so whenever it rained, water would pour off of this building onto Dusty's property, which I think was one of the reasons that necessitated a partnership, so they're now partners in making improvements to this property. So just more pictures on the improvements that we are working on. We're going to be adding new windows, replacing the transom windows, making improvements, like I said, to the facade wherever the awning is being removed. And this is what we're recommending for the incentive. So $72,000 for the streetscape and safety, but the action we're asking for you first is the landlord portion. So it is to approve an $18,625 incentive with Scott Barker. That's the first option, the first action. The next action will be with Dusty for the $72,600. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Questions? Board members?
You gotta double,
Press your button.
you're gonna have to double click, Mike.
No, I mean, every president.
There you go.
All right. There you go. I think you can talk now.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. My question is, the awnings, you said they were removed. Are we replacing them, or?
I believe that that is the intention, to add some additional structure, but it'll depend upon kind of the scope of work. Sometimes whenever these projects get initiated, there are cost overruns. So currently the main improvements that we have identified for the exterior include, sorry.
I mean, I'm not suggesting you have to replace awnings, but I just kind of,
It does not look at this point in time like we are going to be reinstalling awnings. That's not part of the scope, but we will be needing to remove the pieces of metal that are kind of hanging off there currently.
so the front of the building, will that be updated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it'll look nice. It'll definitely be an improvement from its current condition.
Okay. We don't have a rendering of what we think it's going to look like, do we?
We do not have a rendering, but we do have the, and I'm able to do it here, we do have kind of an identification of the improvements that are to be made. So you can see we're going to replace the windows, and we're going to focus mainly on the kind of area where the transom windows had otherwise been installed, but it will largely look the same other than these improvements, these functional improvements.
Okay. Thank you.
That it? Okay. Ms. Campos?
Thank you. On that rendering, what is the second floor normally used for? Do you know?
So the second floor has been vacant for decades. I do not recall, I don't think we have, when was the last time this building was in use? Well over a decade ago. And so it will be utilized for small kind of micro leasing for small businesses. This is going to be a really interesting corner because we have the ability to put 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 small businesses on the first floor. There's currently a VNP gallery, which is like a vintage t-shirt shop on the corner, and then there will be additional spaces available for lease. So it was an office space, and that structure was still there. They've done a really great job to clean, but it was full of junk, so it was just completely overdone, and water leaked through the windows. So that's one of the reasons the window repair is so important.
And would it be possible to have that as a living space, like have little apartments? Because that's what it originally, was it originally ever have apartments? Because I thought I had like a friend of mine that used to live in one of those.
I do not think any of the offices have the facilities required to be considered a living space. I think there might be one restroom on the top floor available for all of them. But I do not believe that they could be, if people were living there, that was probably not in compliance with.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that then there's going to be added space for leasing. It's a great project, and I wish them well. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions? Alyssa, so we don't have, other than the T-shirt shop that you referred to, we don't have any other designated businesses at this point for this particular location?
They are making one new space available for lease. There is currently another T-shirt shop that occasionally operates, but their hours are not very consistent, so we do not really, it's not like one of our mainstay retail spots. And then there's another space being utilized that they've already been notified. I believe that they're not going to be able to stay. So there will be at least 2 spaces available for lease, possibly 3, and then the upstairs will be newly available.
The 72,000 we're going to approve for the outside is going to go to the items that you had identified on that picture?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. Along with our streetscape regulations, what, does that have anything to say about, and I haven't looked at it in a while, about signage?
Our streetscape program does not require signage, but I do believe.
Well, the requirement for signage is not what I was concerned about. My concern is what the signage is going to look like.
Okay. Let me see here. What's the HVAC? This is the landlord portion. Sorry, I'm flipping to that page really quick. We do not, would you like us, do you have any direction that you'd like to give us regarding signage?
Well, I guess we just don't want to throw caution to the wind here. I mean, if we're going to have rules and regulations about awnings and what things are going to look like on the building, we probably should, if we don't have something, we probably should add something about signage.
We definitely have guidance in our
I know
guidelines.
the city has guidelines with respect to signage, but, you know.
Even within our design guidelines, we typically like to see blade signs or hanging signs, like not necessarily flush channel signs. So I'm seeing that we do not have signage included in this. If they were to come back to us to ask for a grant for signage, we can definitely work with them at that point to make sure that it's a more urban, kind of time-appropriate style of sign that's installed on the building.
So they would have to get something approved, they just couldn't go stick up whatever.
They could go stick up whatever, but we would help pay for something that we approved. So I think generally there's an incentive
Well,
to.
the ability to stick up whatever is my concern.
Got it. We don't, this board has not maintained the authority to regulate development. All that we've done at this point, the precedent that we've established is guiding
So their
development with
guidelines would
incentives.
Fall under whatever the city
Whatever the
requirements are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's all I had. Any other questions? So do we want to approve this or talk about the next one first or approve these individually?
We would approve them individually, and then I'd answer any questions about the project, but I do not have another presentation for
Okay,
the
I'll
second part.
entertain a motion to pass item G3.
I move for approval. I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, G4.
The next presentation we have are the DMD updates on a few placemaking projects, as well as our economic development projects. We need to approve the other item, sir. He's done both? Oh,
We approved to do 3.
We approved 3, yeah.
okay, move to 4. So the next item is an incentive agreement with Dusty for the exterior improvements in the amount of $72,600.
I move for approval in the amount of $72,600.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second? We have a second. Any questions, comments? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Okay. So the next item is DMD updates. We have a few updates on placemaking and economic development projects. I see the presentation is pulled up here on, okay, perfect. So under placemaking, our first update is going to be regarding the CCPD headquarter building lighting project. If you could, we desire to add lighting around the building on Chaparral Street and John Sartain. After we added the lights along Illuminando on Chaparral Street, this corner became clearly very dark and didn't really add to the feelings of safety and welcomeness that we've created in the rest of downtown. So we thought that this was a great building to add lighting to. The city, going through the city process, we have engaged with Fries and Nichols. We requested the form, we submitted the request form to city engineering once we were able to get those funds budgeted in FY24. We had budgeted $36,000. The proposal came in at 40, so we were able to utilize the city's right-of-way bucket to pay for those additional fees. And we went ahead and did that, but wanted to advise this board that we had done that. It was such a small change. They were able to build it out of the out of that right-of-way bucket, but again, wanted to advise this board that we had taken that action. So we are now working with city engineering, and we hope to have that project initiated, and we'll keep this board updated as to the status of the feasibility aspect of this report, of the project. Next, we'd like to update you on Mural Fest 2024. We did a national call for artists in February. We had a lot of we've created a really good experience and a really great name for ourselves in the muralist community. We received word that at Art Basel, which is kind of the premier mural festival held in Miami every year, one of our muralists, Eric Carbling, was encouraging everyone to apply for our mural festival and really just touting our community and speaking really highly of us. So we had 119 applications from muralists across the globe. We also partnered this year with the National Mural Awards. This is a nonprofit that was created by one of the muralists from our first year doing a mural festival, Jason Tetlak. They now do kind of an awards process for the entire country, and they will be partnering with us to host the National Mural Awards in June here in Corpus Christi. So there'll be a small awards ceremony. It's the first time hosting an event like this, but we think it's a really great partnership. Through our selection committee, which includes the Art Museum, the Art Center, K-Space Contemporary, pretty much all the art organizations, we were able to narrow down that 119 applications to 2. So Stephanie Sines and Anthony Brooks are our finalists for our mural festival. And then we were able to secure the gold national winner for the National Mural Awards, the silver national winner for the National Mural Awards, and then the Region 6, which is the region that includes Texas, winner. So these are the 5 muralists that will be arriving at the beginning of June and dedicating wonderful new pieces of art that celebrate our Corpus Christi culture and history. And these are the buildings that have submitted and that we have secured. Each of these buildings are either kind of fighting blight or livening up a corner that's otherwise not very active at this point in time. So we are well on our way to the planning and coordination for Mural Fest. In economic development, we have an update for Gallery 41. You've seen that they are actually open and operating for business. We will be having a ribbon cutting on April 5th. Before Art Walk. And so this is a really nice upscale restaurant at the Art Center, which is really added to the food and beverage options in downtown. Also, OK Hi-Fi continues to work towards their opening. We're anticipating early summer opening from them, but you can see the work that has been completed. This was just a vacant box before, so there's really a lot of improvements. It's very stylistic. It's, again, going to add to the options of places to go in downtown Corpus Christi and really hold that bar as far as an experience goes. And then our final update, I believe, is community grocery. So you can see here the interior work has been moving along very quickly. We're anticipating an opening by May of this year, and work continues. So we just like to give you these update photos so you can see these projects in development. And then finally, we wanted to give you an update. Last meeting, you had a request regarding new business marketing. We've been working with Night Storm Productions to do a feature of the 18 new businesses that opened last year. And so because we have our State of Downtown event, we were able to do a trade with KRIS, and we will be having commercials starting in April, drawing attention to the 18 new businesses that have opened downtown. And we're also working on a partnership with the airport to do some advertising in the airport. So those are some of the initial things that we've been able to do to spread the word about the development happening downtown. That's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions, comments? Councilman Roy?
Yes. In the future, when you do the updates on the different, can you put the address there? It just helps me kind of remember. I remember the name sometimes, but definitely the street and that, I'll remember the address.
Yeah, good point. I was going to suggest the same thing.
I do have a question. Where are we at with the development that's kind of across the street from your office that they were going to turn into a restaurant?
Thirsty. So Thirsty, it was the old Sparkling City Comedy Club. I believe they are in final stages of getting their MEP. Have they submitted? Okay, they're in final stages of getting their MEP design done so that they can submit to development services. So that project continues to move forward. We check in with them every week, if not every other week, to make sure that everyone's continuing to move and working with them to hit those next benchmarks and milestones.
And then the other one is the building that I always ask you about with the developer out of New Orleans. Where are we
The
at?
600 building.
Yes.
Sir. So that was, I gave a brief update on that a bit earlier. We touch base with them at least every other week. We are anticipating some news about their financial commitment within the next 2 weeks. And from that point in time, we'll be coming back to this board either with some proposing modifications to the agreement or recommending we suspend the agreement. But this is really important, that this is the most sophisticated redevelopment deal that we have seen in Corpus Christi. So it takes a while. Like the Cosmopolitan, I think they're working on the back end on the for like 10 years before they were able to secure and move it forward. And we see there's an apartment there now. But deals like this are complicated.
Together. So, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilman Campos?
Hear me? Okay, thank you. You mentioned the 18 new businesses in downtown. Is that like a really good number? I don't know.
It is a record. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's
Well, that's what I
record.
wondered. And do you usually like set a bar? Do you say, hey, this year I want to hit 30 or whatever? Is that something that y'all normally do? Or you
Yes.
just think, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, so I think our goal was 12. So
okay.
the opening of 18 is really significant. As we continue the revitalization, though, the spaces to redevelop become more difficult to redevelop, and they become fewer. So, like, the game gets harder as we advance in it. So getting 18 this year is really phenomenal. It's definitely a testament to the work of the team, and they do whatever needs to get done to make these projects happen.
Well, and I have been spending a little more time downtown, especially at the Frida restaurant and, just some of the other spaces that they just, it's just refreshing to see, and especially a restaurant like that, because I want to say they're open like 7 days a week till 10 o'clock at night. So that having that kind of place downtown, in addition to all the other, businesses, it's a really beautiful thing to see and to experience. So thank you for doing such a good job, and thank you to your team.
Yes, ma'am. You're very welcome. Thank you to everyone here for your support, because it's a team effort. We couldn't do it unless we were doing it together.
Okay.
Thanks.
That it? Any other questions, comments? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's on. All right. Question. And I see the need to improve the building right there next to Dusty's on the corner. But we do have a business that's located there that's already been given notice to move out. I believe it's a motorcycle repair shop.
Yes, sir.
And he's been there for a number of years. I know the gentleman, Omar. Anyway, we talk about the 18 new businesses, but you're going to lose one here. And is there any, I'm going to say, vehicle by which we can encourage someone like that, or a business like that, maybe to locate to a less visible spot in downtown area, so you still have the activity, right? But maybe in another street. I mean, I know he's looking for another place to move to, but I was wondering if there's any empty spaces that you could pitch to somebody like that, who maybe that corner's going to be redone, but may be able to locate to an area that's still downtown, still creates some activity in the area, so you don't lose that activity, but they just don't move out of downtown.
Yes, sir. So we typically don't run into a situation in which we are relocating a business. This has happened a few times before, like for instance, for Seagull Villa, there was a barber shop on the first floor that has to be relocated for the duration of the construction process. But I believe that the unique situation with the business that you're referring to, which was a motorcycle repair shop, is that I'm not sure if that use, we need to check the zoning for the central business district to see if that's still a compatible zoning use. And then, of course, we would be working with them to try to help find them an alternative location.
Well, I know we've got some vehicle repair shops that, say, for instance, Shook Enterprises, it's over there in front of the Limerick Apartments, or, or in that type of business, maybe not motorcycles, but at least cars. And so again, I'm thinking that there's some areas that are either zoned or allowed, businesses that are allowed for that type of activity.
Certainly, we'll work on that.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Listen, I did have two quick questions. What is the goal for your mural project? Is the goal to have a mural on every building in downtown Corpus Christi, or what is the goal?
What is the reasoning? Sure. So we endeavored upon the mural program, and we realized it was a really effective and efficient way to fight blight. So there's a number of buildings downtown that the repair cost to put them back into use is greater than the landowner is currently willing to pay. So initially, we began utilizing it to brighten up walls that otherwise had not been painted or touched in a very long time. So it was bringing down the whole downtown area. What we have found once we initiated it is that it really set us forward regarding our cultural district development. So downtown is also a designated cultural district through the state. And this is really something that current downtowns are currently doing. So we had the added benefit of finding that it really made us relevant. Visit Corpus Christi loves it. They tout it, and they put it as something that tourists can walk around and do and see in downtown. And then we've had the fortune of having a really well-curated collection of muralists. So, we're not just kind of throwing it together. It's like it's an asset in itself.
I understand all that.
Yes, sir.
But my question is there a limit to the number of murals that we're going to put in downtown Corpus Christi? Once we run out of blighted buildings that we want to decorate, what do we do then?
Well, each of the murals are intended to have a useful life of about 5 years. After that, their quality begins to degrade. So at that point in time, if it's still popular, yes, sir, we'll go back and replace them and keep them fresh.
Okay, and along with that, do we have a little say-so over the content of the mural?
Yes. So whenever we, it's definitely a compromise, because these muralists can charge $100,000 for a mural that we're otherwise getting for under 10. So it is a little bit of their artistic license, but we do provide guidance in that it has to be relevant to the culture of Corpus Christi, the history of Corpus Christi, our natural resources, and then we have 1 or 2 edits that we do with them. But these are not murals we are commissioning and completely controlling the design of.
Okay. All right, the final thing is, and I guess just a comment, a friend of mine and his wife I was talking to the other day, and they went to downtown Corpus Christi here a week or so ago, and there was lots of things going on, and he said, it was great, Mike, except for one problem. We couldn't find a parking place.
Yeah.
And so at some point, Alyssa, we're going to have to put this back on the agenda.
Sure.
We've talked about this for a long time, and we're going to have to come up with some answers to our parking issues down there, because we can do all of this improvement and Councilwoman Campos is right. It's a wonderful thing to see, but if people begin to get frustrated with the fact that they can't find a place to park when they attend these events, then it's going to degrade what we're trying to do.
Absolutely, and I do know that we moved the parking division under economic development, and I think that they're in the process, if not have already hired a business manager for the parking division. So I know it's something we've been gearing up and trying to have the right pieces in place to do properly so that we can manage parking like a utility. Currently, it's just not. So we're hopefully going to get there.
Okay.
We're going to get there, I'm confident.
Okay. Ms. Campos, do you have a comment?
I did. Thank you for bringing that up about the,
Oh, hang on. There. Let's see. Try it now.
okay. Thank you. No, there.
There you go.
All right. Like I said, I've been, going, I think, a little bit more downtown visiting, and parking is an issue. But, the other strange thing is the lights. I'm sorry, but the street lights. And I think I went ahead and sent an email to Neiman. It was Saturday or Sunday. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do it Saturday. But anyway, there's a street that the lighting where it just stays and stays so long. And I was like, okay, I thought it was just me. Then I came another day and here I am sitting, I don't know, I timed it like 4 minutes. And I'm like, why? And there's no cars coming on, it's on Water Street, I think. And so anyway, hopefully we can address that issue. Thank you though for bringing up infrastructure, sidewalks, lighting, I mean, that kind of street lights, that would be helpful. So thank you.
You're speaking of the traffic lights, right?
Traffic lights,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking
No,
about.
it's a problem, and
Yeah, they need to be some re-timed or something.
we've brought that up to our city manager more than once. It's something we desperately need to look at.
Great suggestion.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to see somebody other than me fuss about it, Peter. It's a problem.
Okay. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Okay, if nothing further to come before this committee, we're adjourned.
Good job.
We made it.